31 years ago this month, the world witnessed the fastest killing in contemporary human history as the Hutu killed an estimated 1 million Tutsi in just 100 days. In the first of this series, let's look at 5 key causes on one trigger. First is colonialism, as the Hutu and the Tutsi got on relatively well for hundreds of years. They married one another, they had shared customs, they had a shared language. Belgian colonial rule changed all this as they politicised identity. They ruled through the Tutsi minority and marginalised the Hutu majority that they saw to be an inferior race. This colonial hierarchy left a profound legacy on Rwandan society. For example, in 1993, identity cards were issued, Hutu and Tutsi. But these aren't just labels because of what's gone on. These labels embody a violent hierarchy. Second root cause is that genocides are more likely where there's a history of mass violence. 1959, when the Hutu overthrew the Tutsi monarchy, they killed thousands of Tutsi in the process. There were more massacres in the mid-60s, and up to 10,000 Tutsi were killed in the 1990 to 93 civil war. What we see, therefore, is that violence was viewed as a legitimate solution to the perceived problem of the Tutsi in Rwanda. The third is the combination of nationalism and propaganda. In 1990, a member of the Hutu power political party published the Hutu 10 Commandments, which were distributed widely. Commandments set out a series of orders. The Hutu were not to trust the Tutsi. Marrying them or befriending them would be an act of treachery. The Hutu ideology was the only legitimate way of thinking, and the Tutsi should be shown no mercy. Fourth cause is the civil war itself. The Rwandan Patriotic Front, made up of mainly exiled Tutsi, invade Rwanda on October the 1st, 1990. The civil war that follows leads to a peace agreement at Arusha in 1993, but it's this peace agreement that many see to be the cause of the mass violence that follows. But to understand this, we've got to factor in the fifth cause. Fifth is international dynamics. In the early 1990s, foreign aid donors begin to say to the Rwandan government, if you want aid, it's conditional. You need to implement constitutional changes and democratization. Sounds positive, but Hutu extremists saw the president's compromise at Arusha as an act of treachery, and they conclude that the elimination of the Tutsi is the fastest way to minimize power sharing within a transition to democracy. For critics, the international community therefore bears some responsibility for what would occur. Brings us on to the trigger itself. On April the 6th, 1994, the president's plane is shot down. And although we do not know who assassinated him, within hours roadblocks are set up and the interim Hutu government are encouraging people to carry out mass killing of Tutsi. But why did so many ordinary citizens just begin to kill their neighbours and friends? This brings us on to the next video in the series, which will look at perpetrators.